When you open your checklist module, you will see the completed checklist first. If you look at the completed checklist, it will give you the actual checklist name. It will tell you who's completed it, and it will tell you when it was completed last. If you click on the View tab, it will open a PDF and it will show you what you actually captured in your checklist. If you click on the Email tab, it will open a block where you can type in an email address and send it to a specific person so that they can open the checklist that was completed. In this section, you can also do a word search and search a specific word, and it will pick up anything that's got to do with ladders because that's the word I've searched. But you can also do a search on the person that's completed it. You can see it's Elint that's completed the checklist, not any of the users on this section. It's the master that's completed it, but you can also search just specific checklists. So you have the functionality to search exactly the same as what you have in your app. The checklist module works exactly the same, the completion of the checklist, as what you would do on the app. This tab here, My Checklist, will show the checklist that's assigned to the person. So you might be, if we look at all checklists, you might have a multiple checklist selection for the company that's assigned to specific people. Now, if the user goes in and they click on My Checklist, they will only see the checklist that's physically assigned to them. If we go back to all checklists, in this section, if the user is the administrator, he will be able to see the edit functionality that we can see underneath the name. If the user is not an administrator, he will not be able to see that. To edit the checklist, we click on Edit, and you can see it opens up. You can delete the checklist. You can add multiple, CMSs to the checklist, and then obviously add any of the questions, or add a question or delete a line from it. And once you've done your edit, you can just say add, and it will change that specific checklist according to the editing that you've done. To complete the checklist from the platform and not the app, you can just say complete. Again, you get the block with the CMS that's assigned to it. You select that specific CMS, you submit it, and then obviously you complete it the same way as what you would do on the app. By ticking the question doesn't mean yes, it's correct. It means yes, I have read the question, I understood what you asked for me, and I have actioned it. If there is something wrong, I can make a note. Okay, so I need to make a note and say it can be replaced, and then I can also add a photograph if I want to, which I'm not going to do now, but I can add a photograph. Just take note, on your app you will be able to add multiple photographs, but on the actual platform you can only add one photograph. I will then select task because something needs to be fixed. As with the app, you will select task if something needs to be rectified, and you can select continual improvement only when there's an investigation that's required. 99% of your corrective action will actually be a task, and only raise a continual improvement for an investigation, please. And just for ease of use, I'm going to complete this checklist quickly. So this means I have read, I understood, and I have actioned these questions, and there's nothing that I want to report from them. Okay, and then I can save it. Once I save it, you will see it sits under the actual completed checklists. So you can see I have just completed this checklist. if you have a new checklist, and this is for the administrators, they will have an option to assign a checklist. So I have told you if a checklist is assigned to a specific person, that person will see the checklist under my checklist. So to assign a checklist, they will select the actual checklist, they will select the user and click on that tab. If this user, if Andrew is not working for us anymore, I can actually remove him from that checklist as well. So that's how we do the selection. To add a new checklist, there's two ways that you can do it. You can either upload a CSV of a specific checklist. So if I go into my system and select take that one and I select that CSV, then I can populate my checklist immediately. I don't have to type everything in, and I can link it to a CMS and add it. So you will see if I go to my checklists, they normally add it to the last one. There's the checklist I've just added. Another way of adding checklists is to creating it from scratch and just do your own. So let's say we do a first aid box inspection. I can link it to a first aid aider. I can then say I can add another question. And I can add another one and continue like this. And when I add it, again, you will see the checklist is available for us to use. If you can see the detail of that specific checklist. Now, these checklists that I've just added, if we want to add it to a specific person, I can select the checklist, I can assign it to Andrew and add it, and it will show in Andrew's My Checklist section so that he only has access to the actual checklist that's assigned to him. Remember, the checklist, when you complete it, the tick does not mean yes, it's correct. The tick means yes, I understand the question and I have actioned the question. And if I pick up anything that needs to be rectified, I raise a task from that specific question. If I can just open this again, I tick, I click on the plus, I raise a task from that specific checklist. If I save it, you will notice under tasks, we have saved that specific one where we said the bracing is in poor condition, needs to be replaced in the initial checklist that we've done. So the administrator already knows about that. And that is checklist. Also remember, if a checklist is linked to a CMS, Elint will notify monitoring that the checklist was done. And that's why if we go into the complete checklist, if you do not select this box, if I just click here and I leave that box and I complete the checklist, Elint will not know that you have completed the checklist and your CMS can still fail. It is important that you remember when you complete the checklist that you select that CMS and submit it. Once you save this checklist, Elint will know that you have actually completed the CMS. So if we go to monitoring, we should be able to see it. There we go. You can see this specific checklist was completed today. And that's checklists.